the days get shorter and the sky begins to pale, when the winds are howling down the high-walled cobbled lane, I write my name in the sycamore leaves and sign it with a kiss. I'm coming home soon, the blue moon after next. When the night is hollow and shadows crowd the lawn, when the doors are bolted and the curtains are all drawn, you hear my voice in the creaking floorboards and hold your troubled head. I'm coming home soon, the blue moon after next. I am the thing that stands outside your bedroom door and whispers through the keyhole, the hand that knocks, the face you pretend you can't see outside the upstairs window. If I am not welcome, you can tell me I'll disappear like mist. I'm coming home soon, I'm coming home soon, the blue moon after next.
Good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the Vanguard. For the honey maple smoked Spike Cohen, I am Matt Wright, and together we are traversing the muddied waters of freedom.
Hey, everybody. By the way, I also hate Matt, and here's why, and Costco. So let's go ahead.
First and foremost, allow me to thank Justin.
No.
Yes,
first and foremost.
Yes. It's first and foremost, we thank Justin and Kroger, I'm assuming. First and foremost, thank you to Justin. Before you get into your 5-minute rant, thank you, Justin, for the kava that I'm drinking on today's episode. Thank you for my delicious mud water.
And allow me to thank Kroger, who cares about her customers, for providing me with this purified drinking water. Bula Vinaka, and now...
Bula Vinaka.
Okay. We need to talk.
Okay. I'm just going to sit back for this, okay?
Good. So, okay. You motherfucker. So I'd like to talk about salmon. Now I know
really
I know it is. Now this probably surprises you, our humble viewers, that we are that I'm talking about salmon. Costco sells an absolutely amazing salmon. It is a honey maple hot smoked Atlantic salmon. It's like this. It comes in a fillet. Matt can tell you because he has a bunch of them, and it comes like in an inch thick. It's like a fillet. It's anywhere from 1.5 to 2 pound fillet of smoked salmon. They sell it for like $12 a pound, which is unheard of for smoked salmon. And it is absolutely delicious. If you had a piece of that and a piece of the finest honey-baked ham, you could not tell the difference. If anything, you would like the salmon more because it's just so amazingly juicy. Now, Costco made sure to get me hooked on it and then inexplicably stopped carrying it only at their Myrtle Beach location. They sell it in their Wilmington location. They sell it in their Charleston location. They sell it in their Charlotte location. They apparently sell it in their Tampa Bay location. I'm told they share it. They have it in their location in Boston. Everywhere but here, where it's needed. Now, as you know, denying me smoked salmon is one of the most perfidious forms of anti-Semitism in human existence. And I can't talk about it, but soon I'm going to exact some major revenge against them in the form of me spending some serious political capital to create a push pressure campaign to force them to carry this smoked salmon. And I know what you're probably thinking, that maybe I'm overreacting a little. You're wrong. Matt can tell you how good it is. Matt?
I can't right now. My mouth's full.
Yeah, because it's that good.
It's really good.
It's really good. It's really good. Like I don't like. Now we're supposed to talk about the news, things that matter. Like this is fine. I'm supposed to just pretend this is okay.
First of all, let us say hi to literally half the service department of the Poway Geico.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Poway Geico. I'm sure the Poway Costco location has the exact smoked salmon that I'm talking about.
Right.
So you should go check that
anybody
out.
from the Poway Geico has a Costco membership, if you can go and find out if they have the Blue Hill honey maple smoked salmon, let me know. And bring
Send some
some
pictures
next time you're in town.
Yeah. Because God forbid Matt have to go and drive to also still Tampa Bay
And
and
it's
get
like
some
40
himself.
minutes north. It's a drive. It's an all day.
40 minutes is a long way. So, anyway,
But man, that is some good salmon.
it's
That is
just,
truly some mwah. Like that
I'm really
salmon.
I'm happy for you.
That salmon is so
No, I know
good.
it's the best.
I get it. I get why you're upset.
Yeah.
I get why you're upset, and I feel for you.
Thank you.
But I feel for you with a belly full of honey maple smoked salmon.
Yeah, no, well, at least someone's having it. At least someone associated with Muddy Waters is getting it. Now, this episode is brought to you, of course, by the Libertarian Dad Bod Calendar, available now all the way up till the end of the year for the low, low price of $12, including shipping. Now, this has, friends, the most sexy libertarian men, including that absolute Adonis you're looking at right there. That is Spike Cohen, Mr. April, the sweet summer boy in April for some reason. And so just go to libertariandadbod.com, and you too can hang this sexy man and all the other sexy libertarian men from your fridge or wherever you hang sexy libertarian men in your home. libertariandadbod.com. This episode is also brought to you by the Libertarian Party Waffle House Caucus, the fastest growing Waffle House caucus of any political party, not just the Libertarian one. And also, special event coming up this weekend, brought to you exclusively by Muddy Waters Media. Actually, it might be carried by other people, I'm not sure, but we're exclusively carrying it for us. The Nashville Libertarian Party is presenting the December Gathering with Vermin Supreme this Saturday, the 14th, from 6 to 8 Central at the Margaritaville Hotel in Nashville. That is not the Margaritaville restaurant. It's the Margaritaville Hotel. Vermin Supreme will be there. Spike Cohen will be there. And many others will be there. Matt, unfortunately, will not be there. He will be busy at home eating salmon.
Eating salmon and working.
Working and eating salmon in bliss, in absolute bliss.
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for Matt. So yeah, So be sure to tune in for that on Saturday. I will be there in the crowd. You may see me in the crowd, and Vermin will be there. Well, actually, you'll see me. Well, you won't see me because I'll be behind the camera. But Vermin will definitely be there in the crowd. So be sure to check that out. And yeah, so speaking of,
first of all, for anybody who is an audio listener, thank you. But as with all of our shows, this show has a lot of visuals that you may want to, or may not, depending. You may or may not want to see. So thank you for listening on your favorite audio platform. Be sure to check us out on YouTube later.
Yeah, you just may not. You may not want to see this one. Or you might. Speaking of which, one of our original fans, Casey
OG
Name Redacted.
fan.
OG fan Casey Name Redacted.
That's right.
In watching the previous episode, episode number 124, 3Pocalypse Now, No Malarkey, she watched our conversation with newly crowned superfan Matt Hicks.
Really? He's got superfan status.
He is. There are many things that you can give one of us to become a superfan. $49 is one of them.
$49.99.
49. Well, he technically will. Oh yeah, $49.99 is one of them, and then there are other things. But Casey, she listened to our conversation about narwhal sex,
Right,
and she brought. Go ahead.
Which is one of the highly leading issues that we need to discuss in today's climate.
It is possibly the most.
Oh, by far.
It's definitely the most important thing to talk about is the possibility of sex with narwhals. And she brought up a semantic argument, which is that if one is having sex with a narwhal through the blowhole, you're on top of the narwhal and not behind. But what if it's facing up?
What do you? Oh,
like
like
if it's
on its
facing
back.
like perpendicular to the top of the water.
So if it's perpendicular to the top of the water and you're underneath like this?
Yeah, like so the top of the water's here, narwhal's here, blowhole's here.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so yeah, all right. So it's perpendicular. Okay, gotcha. In which case, yeah, no, you're behind. See, this is where it's a semantic argument. She's only looking at it from the one angle, like narwhal belly down.
Right.
You inside blowhole on top. Right. Yeah. But so the way that when she and I were arguing about this, my argument was you can be taking somebody from behind. You could be taking somebody from behind, but you'd still be on top of them. You could still be on top of them, but technically you're taking them from behind. This is the same scenario.
This is actually the opposite. But it's similar circumstances, but in that you could technically be behind them, but still be on top from their perspective. So right. No matter where the whale's facing, you're on, from its line of sight and point of reference, you're on top of the whale, the narwhal.
See, now, and here we had to go into this too, because, the eyes, where does it count for being on top with where the eyes are on a narwhal and the mouth?
Which are sort of like on the side almost.
Right. So like, I would think that where the tusk is, the tooth, as we learned on last week's episode, that would be the top.
No, but that's the thing. I thought it was like a unicorn type tusk where it came out like this. It's not. It's actually a tooth that comes out from its mouth. So
is it a tooth that comes out from its mouth, or is it like a separate tooth that freakishly grows out of a specific area?
No, I believe it actually comes out of its mouth, and that's where everything kind of breaks down.
Okay.
Because yeah, and that's so if you look at this, well, you can, but if anyone looks at a narwhal picture, it's coming out straight ahead. So I think she might be right, Matt. I think she might be right on this.
But then it still depends on how the narwhal is laying.
for the relative to the Earth perspective of where you are on it. But from its perspective, you're always on. No, because if I'm lying on my back and someone's behind me, I don't think they're. No, but they're still behind me.
They're behind you.
But if I'm laying down and someone's here, do I still consider them on top of me, or are they just, or now are they behind me? Oh wow. We're gonna get John.
Yeah,
McAfee,
we're gonna have to get to the bottom of it. Yeah, because we could literally fill 2 hours.
We filled an hour. We filled an hour last week, so let's not do that again. We will get in touch with John McAfee because he probably has thought way more about this than either of us have combined.
That's probably true. That's probably accurate.
He's probably thinking about that right now. But speaking of
people being behind,
just giant, scary. Oh wow, yeah, people being behind and scary mammals. In a recently released Harris poll, Joe Biden is polling at 29% out of 1,859 probable voters in a scientific polling. Bernie Sanders polling at 16%, way behind, 13% behind. Warren at 13%. Buttigieg at 8%. And Mayor Bloomberg at 7%, Matt.
That's right. Now, if, as you can see on this graphic, if Hillary Clinton and John Kerry get into the race, Clinton polls at 21%, Biden at 20%, Sanders at 12%, Warren at 9%, Buttigieg and Kerry at 5%.
Oh, my Lord.
And if you look, Bloomberg doesn't even make that list.
Nope. Clinton, what happens here? Clinton scoops up basically all the Bloomberg support, as well as a good bit of the Biden support.
Some of the Warren.
A little bit of the Warren, a little bit of Sanders.
Takes a little bit from everybody.
Yeah, she kind of
all of Bloomberg.
She kind of takes all of it, and then Kerry gets 5%. Kerry
just kind of gets the scraps that Clinton didn't take from everybody else.
Right, which means basically that there's massive dissatisfaction with who they have to choose from right now. If Hillary Clinton, who couldn't manage to beat Donald Trump, is their front runner right now. That is scary.
Should she enter? Which I was actually having a conversation with somebody earlier today about this. And if she doesn't enter by Christmas, she doesn't.
Yeah, I don't see her doing one of these real late January, February things. I mean, there are deadlines. She's already missed some of the deadlines for entering some of the primaries and stuff like that. Like this idea that you can dramatically come in at the last minute, you have to actually already be registered in these different caucuses and primaries. So I don't see her doing that.
No, me neither. But in other news, the entire DNC appears to prefer the sub role in their relationship
with Hillary. Yeah. So guys,
with anybody, because they apparently just really love being just abused by Hillary.
Yeah. No, it's actually really frightening. Now, guys, a little bit of a challenge to you. If you can actually see what this is that we're looking at right now.
If you understand that this is a...
Because I had no idea. I knew it was Hillary and a Democrat symbol, and then it just kind of broke down after that. I wasn't really sure what I was looking at.
Right. And basically, if you know what's happening in this photo, we know a lot more about you.
Matt learned that I'm a wholesome boy because I looked at that and I'm like, I knew it was something sexual. I knew it was something sexual because there was like a chain and Hillary in the throes of passion there. But I did not know exactly what I was looking at. And then Matt showed me the original picture. And oh.
Yeah, that was really fun to Google and try to find in public, by the way.
Yep. Not even in incognito mode, just public search. Let it rip. Between that and the narwhal searches, we definitely have people watching us now.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. Matt Hicks says it's disturbing how much he's turned on by this.
Same.
Right.
Matt Hicks, by the way.
So Matt Hicks obviously understands what's happening in that picture. So we already know more about Matt Hicks than we want to.
Well, here's what I know. He made my egg timer happy. He gave my egg time. He has given Eggy, my egg timer, the Muddy Waters Media brand egg timer, a quality of life that I simply wasn't in a place to be able to provide.
That's true.
And as much as it hurts,
Eggy is seeing the world.
Eggy is experiencing a life that I just am not. I'm just not in a mental space to provide. And I'm going to be the big man here, and I'm the bigger man, and I'm going to congratulate Matt and Eggy on their budding egg timer chef romance that they've developed. So, mazel tov to both of you. Happy holidays.
Real quick, for anybody who is not on float, we look really good on float. God, we look good. We look so good on float. If you're not on float, get over on float and watch us there. It is, we just look fantastic. I can't hear us on there because I have the sound down, obviously, but
no, we sound good on there as well.
Yeah, you should definitely get over there and check us out on the old float.
On the old float app.
Float app.
Although right now, unless something's wrong with my
Did
float,
the stream just go unavailable for you?
I think float is down. I don't think it's just the stream. I think float might be down. Nope, we're back up.
We're back up. Yeah, I was gonna say it went down on me a second ago, so I figured that we'd.
Yeah, and it's something specific to float because we're still on the other stuff.
Right.
Anyway,
but we still look good on.
We still look the best on that. So, anyway, yeah, l'chaim, Matt. Speaking of going down, I guess the deficit spiked 12% in the first 2 months of the fiscal year, which started in October, and it went up to $342 billion for a 2-month period. That is an average of $171 billion being spent than what was brought in by the federal government in tax revenue and tariff revenue and all of that. It is absolutely insane, Matt.
Yes. When we asked for comment, a local MAGA-er cheered, saying, "Most fiscally responsible president ever."
Yeah, no, they're really happy about. I've had discussions with Republicans, Trumpers, who are actually, especially the most hardcore Trumpers. They're under the impression that there is no more deficit. That he said he would get rid of the deficit, and that we are well on our way to ending the deficit. And no matter, when I tell them no, it's actually continuing to go up and the debt is continuing to skyrocket, whatever link or source I share with them, they'll go, "Oh, well, yeah, you can't trust them. They're fake news." It could literally come from, and that's why I specifically used the Congressional Budget Office, and they'll say, "Oh, well, that's the deep state." So, I mean, it's just pure denialism at this point.
And so when I was looking for the notes this week for a lot of stories, I know I can trust. You can pull from different sources, and then we kind of make our own. For this specific story, I read from like the Washington Times and Fox News, as well as like Vox, New York, not the New York Times, because I'm not paying the money to read the New York Times, but Vox and CNN. And what I pulled these numbers from and everything from here was The Hill.
Right.
Because The Hill is kind of that middle of the road that most people are like, yeah, you can trust them. Right, up until they say something they don't like. And then it's like, oh, you can't trust them there. But pretty much they're good. So that's why.
You got it from a broad mix of both Trump-friendly, Trump-unfriendly, and Trump-neutral programs. As well as, again, the Congressional Budget Office.
That's right.
Like, they are literally the people in charge of telling you what the deficit is. Like, that's one of the things they do. So, yes, I guess that's part of the deep state, but Donald Trump keeps signing off on funding them. So I don't know what to tell you. Speaking of denialism, the Washington Post, after many years of investigation and Freedom of Information Act requests, they have released the damning Afghanistan papers, which are sort of our generation's version of the Pentagon Papers, which detailed all the lies during the Vietnam War. This is the Afghanistan Papers, which show that the government has been lying to everyone about the Afghanistan war from the beginning. They've been making up benchmarks that have been met. They've been making up numbers of enemy killed. They've been making up different states of progress and all of these different things. They've lied at every aspect from pretty much from the beginning. I encourage you guys when the show's over to look into the Afghanistan Papers and just see just how much they've been lying. This, of course, has come as a major surprise to literally no one who has ever been to Afghanistan or heard of Afghanistan or thinks they may have heard of Afghanistan.
Yeah,
so
this came as zero shock to literally everyone.
Yeah. So the bottom line, because it is a long report detailing interviews, and the Pentagon has begun to admit to all or most of it. So there is no this is deep state, anti-MAGA, whatever. They're admitting to it. This is. It's very well documented that they lied. It was actually declassified information. But the federal government has basically wasted over $2.5 trillion, as well as nearly 2,000 American lives and countless Afghan lives, most of whom have been civilians, all based on almost 20 years of lies spanning 3 administrations with no end in sight.
Right.
None.
The war in Afghanistan is the longest war the Americans have ever had.
Yeah, and it's not going to end.
It's not ending anytime soon. Everybody that says every year, 2020 is coming up, you're going to start hearing it. We need to pull the troops out of Afghanistan. We need to pull the troops out of the Middle East. Whether Trump gets reelected or one of the other nincompoops that's running gets elected, they're all going to make the promise.
Yep.
None of them will follow through. No, they are still going to be there in 2024 for a brand new parade of promises on pulling the troops.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, at this point, most of the Democrats actually are not running on ending the war. Like at this point, the idea of ending the war on the Democrat side is, you're being pro-Putin or whatever. It is amazing to watch how much the government is invested. And this includes Trump. For all of his talk about ending it, he hasn't ended it. There's as many troops there as there were when he got in. And in fact, there's actually around 15,000 more troops overall in the Middle East and Central Asia than there were when he came into office. So that's not going to end. At this point, I think that there will be generations. We already have people fighting in Afghanistan who weren't alive when 9/11 happened, and I think there will eventually be people who enter who are fighting who have grandparents and great grandparents who fought in it. I know this is not ending. I don't see this ending in even the next 20 years from now. I think we're not even halfway there. I hope I'm wrong, but I think this is going to become, many countries in the past have had these endless wars, these endless skirmishes that just are sort of happening over there, and this is ours. It's just never going to end because it's a total stalemate. At this point, it's not really costing a tremendous number of American lives, and so they can just kind of and as it becomes more and more automated, that just makes it that much easier to keep it going forever and ever and throwing robots at it. It's a huge boondoggle for rent-seeking defense contractors to make endless streams of money on our backs.
It's a huge what?
Boondoggle.
Are you writing for Biden now?
It's a boondoggle. It's a malarkey boondoggle.
So much malarkey going on in this boondoggle.
Let me tell you about Corn Pop.
Corn Pop was bad dude.
Corn Pop was a bad dude. He was full of boondoggles.
Corn
Pop was a boondoggle.
That's right.
Speaking of boondoggles, George Church, who is a scientist that was funded by disgraced pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, who did not kill himself, is working on a new dating app.
No, it's not for what you're thinking, though. Because that was my initial thought when I was reading these, all of these articles. My initial thought was, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
But instead, it's going to be based on genetics in order to match people based on the hope of eliminating hereditary disease.
Yep. The app is actually going to be called Eugenics, which with the tagline "Date Right." There's something else behind that. I don't know what that says. But Eugenics, they've got their spokesmodel there, Maggie Sanger. So we're going to see how Eugenics goes. Of course, George Church pictured here looking like he's trying to be a pedophile to you through the screen as he stares at you.
Yes.
Said that this was to get rid of diseases, of course. He gave an interview with Popular Mechanics, I believe it was, where he talked about how if you date right, all disease will end. And we've never heard that before.
No, not once have we heard that from anybody ever.
Not once has the person in this photo said exactly that. Not even the once. So speaking of mass death, so there was a, which isn't, and so there was a.
This is not something I should be laughing at.
I don't know why this isn't funny.
Jesus
Matt.
Christ.
This isn't funny, man. It's terrible. So at this point, Matt, I'd say the Broward County. So Broward County, that's not where you are, correct? You're in Pinellas County.
Broward County is like Miami. Broward County is where the Parkland shooting happened, and the cops didn't enter the school. They all stayed back because, they don't like to use the word in the police force of cowardice.
Cowards.
But that's the phrase that many of us would use for it when you don't run into a school where somebody is shooting lots of innocent children.
And you're heavily armed.
Yeah.
And it's your job to do that.
They don't like the word cowardice, but whatever. But Broward County, God, we're going to hit Broward County so hard today. And not as hard as Frank Ordona's got hit by Broward County, but we are going to be hitting them hard.
Yeah.
UPS driver Frank Ordonez, pictured here. He picked up a route. He picked up a route for a friend who couldn't do his, and he was surprised by a couple of hijackers who had just robbed a jewelry store in Broward. News choppers caught this entire incident live, and everybody, especially in the local area, was able to watch this travesty unfold. The police chased the hijackers onto the Miramar Parkway near Miami, where the truck was forced to stop due to, Miami traffic.
Right. And so the video, which we were not able to get, but the video shows police surrounding the UPS truck with their guns drawn. The police officers were using the cars that were stuck in Miami traffic, filled with civilians, as human shields from the hijackers. And then the police started opening fire. And as you can see here, they're in a crossfire position. You actually can't see there's more police above on the other side of the UPS truck. So they were basically crossfiring into the civilians' vehicles and, of course, into the truck that had Frank Ordonez in it.
Right. Now, every gun safety course will teach you, as I learned many a year ago. Well, not that many. I'm young. I'm basically a fetus. So not that long ago, I learned that
weeks. Yeah.
Veritable weeks. I learned that the barrel of your gun should never be pointed in the direction of a human being that you do not actually want to shoot.
Right.
Apparently, Broward County did not know this.
Yeah.
They were unaware of this basic fundamental gun safety tip.
Yep.
While trying to stop these hijackers who had been stopped due to traffic. They couldn't go anywhere.
They couldn't go anywhere. And if they could go anywhere, they were in a heavy, easily identifiable vehicle that has GPS tracking on it and is fully insured.
Right.
Better start shooting, everyone.
The hijackers were killed in the incident, but Frank Ordonez, as well as an uninvolved person in a bystanding car, were also murdered.
Yep.
And I say murdered because there should have been some sort of safety protocol being used by the police to ensure that the hostages and the people in the surrounding area did not get shot. And based on that picture, based on the video, they did not follow any of those protocols. Based on that picture right there, none of these protocols were followed.
No, if someone stole our truck and drove into traffic and got stuck in traffic and we drove up behind them, surrounded them like this, and shot at them in this way, we'd all be in prison for murder.
Right.
And endangering the public and every other, and gun charges, countless, they would trump up the charges so heavily and refer to us as, terrorists and vigilantes for doing literally what the police have been trained not to do, but did. So, hands raised if you think that anyone's going to be held accountable, Matt.
So the official story is that they do not know whether it was the hijackers' bullets or the police bullets that killed Frank Ordonez or the innocent bystander that was in the car.
Yeah.
So this is what's going to happen. 100% this is what is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The autopsy report will say the hijackers' bullet killed both the innocent driver in another car and Frank Ordonez, not the police.
Yep.
They will relieve themselves of all culpability and expect everyone to forget this incident ever happened.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. Yeah,
that's 100% what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I can't write this any other I couldn't write this any other way because this is 100% what's going to happen. There is no way that they are going to say, "Yep, we screwed up."
Yeah, yeah. It was the two hijackers who shot everyone involved, except of course themselves.
Right.
That was done by the heroic dozen or so police officers that were just. I mean, I wish we could have gotten the video in time to put it in because if you look at the video, I mean, it sounds like a military firing range where they're firing, where they're firing like machine guns. Like, I mean, it's hundreds of rounds going off in a short period of time. But yeah, it was definitely the two hijackers that killed Ordonez, which would make sense that they would kill their own hostage. And also a bystander who happened to be in the line of fire of where the police were shooting. Right. But yeah, no, this was they're going to definitely relieve themselves of any culpability, and unfortunately, a lot of people are going to forget. But this was an arrogant, dangerous operation.
So not only are a lot of people going to forget, a lot of people are going to forgive them. A lot of people are going to forgive them, and that's actually, in my opinion, worse.
Defend them.
Right. They're going to say, well, they were doing it to try to keep people safe. No, they weren't. They put every single person that was there on that highway, all of their lives were put into danger because they, as you were getting ready to say, were performing an arrogant and dangerous operation on a crowded highway in order to kill the robbers and did not care about the safety of anybody else on that highway.
Yep. Yep.
Sorry to cut you off and steal.
No. It's true. It's disgusting. This entire thing is ridiculous.
It is so frustrating and so annoying because, yes, people will always say police are there to serve and protect. And when they do something like this, where they are not serving nor protecting,
right,
they find every excuse to just forgive them, to let it go, and they are just let off scot-free. It doesn't matter. Like, nobody's going to get in trouble for this. The life of Frank Ordonez does not matter.
Yeah. Does
not matter to the Broward County Police.
Yep. No. Yeah.
And they'll never know who fired that bullet.
Ever. No.
Ever.
They'll be told that it was hijackers, and one of those people, one or more of those cops shot and killed Frank Ordonez.
Yes.
Yep.
But yeah,
and we hear. Go ahead.
Even if the police's bullet didn't kill Frank Ordonez or the innocent bystander, the Broward County Police Department is why they are dead.
Yep. Again, we are very much against theft. We're not saying it's okay to hijack a car, that you should be let off scot-free. They were in an easily identifiable and easily trackable truck full of products that were all insured. So even if they got away with it, everyone would get their money back. And that's not defending theft. It is saying that the lives of the people in traffic was more important than the $3,000 in jewelry and however many hundreds or, thousands of dollars worth of other insured merchandise was in the truck that was easy to identify and had a hostage in it. That's not how you do it. And again, if any of us did it, we'd be in jail right now.
Right. Like I've seen the meme going around, and it is the absolute perfect example from the original Naked Gun movie, Leslie Nielsen, 1988-ish.
Yes.
And the bad guy, whose name I don't remember, he has Priscilla Presley as a hostage, and then Leslie Nielsen goes, "Well, two can play this game," and he takes some random as a hostage. That is exactly what happened there. They did not care about the safety of anybody else on that highway. They didn't care about anything else. They just wanted to kill the two hijackers.
Yeah. And if anyone else got killed, fine.
Yeah, that didn't matter. That was the price we pay to live in a police state.
Yep. Of course, they're going to expect us to believe whatever BS cockamamie malarkey that they put out. But we here at Muddy Waters Media are not going to believe it, and we're certainly not going to forget. Now, UPS managed to initially find a way to create even more outrage. Initially, they released a statement thanking the police and not even mentioning Frank Ordonez. They said, "We are deeply saddened to learn that a UPS service provider was a victim of this senseless act of violence. We extend our condolences to the family and friends of our employee and the other innocent victims involved in this incident. We appreciate law enforcement service and will cooperate with the authorities as they continue the investigation." Now, believe it or not, Twitter lost their damn minds over this, as they should have. And the internet in general lost their garbage and their poop and their malarkey over it. They lost their malarkey, Matt. And
it was quite the boondoggle.
It was quite the kerfuffle and the boondoggle. It was a regular hootenanny over at the
hootenannies are normally good things, aren't they?
Well, this was a good thing because it resulted in UPS deleting that tweet and instead putting out one that showed some damn sense, did not thank the police for murdering Frank Ordonez, and actually mentioned him by name. It said, "Last night in the Miami area, we tragically lost a valuable member of the UPS team, our driver Frank Ordonez, who joined UPS in 2016. This senseless act of violence has impacted many on a personal level. Our deepest sympathies go to Frank's family, friends, and other innocent victims of this heartbreaking incident. We are providing assistance to the Ordonez family and counseling for Frank's coworkers and employees in the Miami area. Please continue to keep them in your thoughts and prayers in the days ahead." That's what they should have said first.
That's what they should have said. Now, I will say, this isn't in the notes. I was tagged in something like, 20 times since this happened.
Okay.
UPS set up a GoFundMe or something for the funeral, and people were like, "What do you think about this? What, how dare they? Why don't they just pay for it? Whatever." I see nothing wrong with what UPS is doing here.
No.
I see absolutely nothing wrong with what UPS is doing here. people think that they are a company, and because he got killed while driving their truck, that UPS is for the responsible for his funeral cost or whatever. What UPS is doing is now allowing the entire community to
Right.
give this. Now, personally, I would say that the police department should probably pay for it, since they're the reason he's dead.
They're the ones
only reason I'm
responsible
kind
for
of
it.
against that is because that means the taxpayers are paying, and we're still paying for the funeral of somebody the police murdered.
Even if
Now,
you made the police individually pay for it, their salaries are paid by the taxpayer.
right. So for UPS to set up a GoFundMe to pay for a funeral, pay for anything past that for the family, I don't have a problem. No, I don't have a problem with that. Anybody that wants to chip in and help out with that,
Yeah,
please
absolutely.
do. Please do.
For the
if
funeral
UPS
and for the loss of income and the whole thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't feel that it is UPS's responsibility to pay for this person's funeral, because that there's no way you wouldn't know.
Yeah, I mean, if they had decided to do it, that would be great. I'm certainly not going to stop them. I don't think that they're.
If they choose to, yeah, that's fine. But
Yeah, I don't think they're. Obviously, unless they're contractually obligated to do so, they don't have to. It would have been a nice gesture. I think, again, like you said, I think they're not. It's not UPS's fault that this happened. They didn't call the police and say, "Damn it, kill everyone involved." This was the police not following their own protocol once again, and acting like this is an episode of Police Academy where no one innocent ever dies, and just shooting up the club, and then wondering what happened. At this point, I think Broward County should just get rid of their police department.
we'll actually hit on Broward County a little bit more later in this episode.
Yeah, no, this is a very heavy. We're not just if people are asking if we're going to talk about impeachment, we are going to talk about impeaching Broward County Sheriff's Department.
Right. Kiss My Bass, our good friend Bass over on YouTube. He had a comment. Did you guys hear about the shooting in Jersey today? 3 civilians dead, 1 cop, and 2 crime boys.
I haven't heard about that.
I read a little bit about it, like literally like 2 sentences about it right before we started this show, but I didn't have time to research it to talk about it. One of the good friends of the show, Yehuda Reamer, said that he was going to be talking about it in an upcoming thing that he's doing. I'm not really sure what it is, but okay. As soon as we learn more about it, we will definitely probably post a meme about it.
We will probably talk several memes about it.
Yes.
Maybe
I'm not going to promise that it's going to be on a show, but
I can't promise it'll be on the show, but we will definitely meme it.
But really hard. It will be on the meme.
Yeah. As are all important stories.
That's right.
But so we welcome back, by the way. We haven't had it for a couple weeks.
I know. But we have missed him.
But we would be happy to announce the return after 2 or 3 weeks of the personal injury attorney, Chris Reynolds, attorney at law, anchor call-in moment. Yeah. And we have 3 of them. Count them, 3.
3.
So let's go ahead without further ado and get started with that right now.
Personal injury attorney Chris Reynolds here with your AOC Millennial Minute. With good old Kamala Harris out, we've had a couple of people drop out now. We've also had a replacement with Bloomberg, I guess. But as I guess the field thins, and we're getting newer polls, and we're getting closer to the Iowa caucuses, I'd love to hear the thoughts of the guys on kind of where we're at and where they think we're headed in terms of at least the Democratic Party. I know for the past few months, you guys have been consistently saying that you think Biden was going to get it. That was before Biden kind of ran amok of a few things. But I wanted to know, has your opinion changed on this? What do you think the Democratic ticket will look like? Thanks.
Well, first of all, I'm just happy to have Chris asking us questions again.
I know. I've missed Chris. I'm glad that he's feeling better. I got to see him this past weekend.
That's awesome. You're wearing the Chris Reynolds shirt there.
I am wearing my Chris Reynolds Law shirt for anybody in Florida. Chris Reynolds Law.
Personal injury attorney Chris Reynolds. And I don't
right.
have my newly laminated Chris Reynolds head. I need to find that.
Yeah, no, Chris looked great.
I'm going to let you start talking first, and I'm going to find Chris.
Okay.
Okay.
He looked great. It was
sure
at an event that we went to. It was at a fundraiser that we went to, a gala, if you will, for clothing children. And it was a great event put on by the fine folks at Low Tide Kava Bar in Gulfport, Florida. My date to the event was definitely the best looking one there because, of course. And the event was great. So I got to hang out with Chris Reynolds. And I believe that I heard, I'm not 100% sure on the final tally, but they raised something like $5,000 in order to help the organization, clothes for children or something like that. I don't remember the name of the organization exactly, but great organization. Good job by the people at Low Tide Kava Bar in Gulfport, Florida for doing that event. They deserve all the kudos that are possible. And it also gave me a chance to get all dressed up and look nice as opposed to my t-shirt flannel that I normally wear.
It sure is, Matt.
That's right. Now, as far as Chris's question, I love that you weren't there for any of that.
Yeah.
As far as Chris's question, so far right now, yes, I still see it as Biden is winning. Earlier in the show, we talked about the Harvard-Harris poll that has Biden at 29%. Unless Hillary Clinton enters the race, then he's polling at 20 with Hillary at 21. So right now, I'm still saying Biden is the man to beat in the Democratic primary. I will say that Buttigieg, who's only polling at 8 right there, he's doing incredibly well in Iowa.
Yeah,
I keep wanting to call that Ohio. In Iowa, it's just another state. I don't care. But he's doing incredibly well in Iowa. If he wins Iowa so he's going to win Iowa. Elizabeth Warren is going to win New Hampshire. Like he could win Iowa. Elizabeth Warren is going to win New Hampshire. Biden is going to win South Carolina.
Right. And then Bernie might win Nevada.
Right. Bernie could win Nevada. And then this is going to be a very long and drawn out race.
Yeah.
I think that this entire race is going to, I like that you didn't even cut out the laminate. You just have it.
Not yet.
You just have it laminated.
No, I'm going to get it cut out. I'm going to cut it out, but I want to do it right.
Right. This is going to be a very long and drawn out race. There will not be a clear winner until possibly April, May. This could be like Obama, Clinton 2008, or it could be like Clinton, Bernie in 2016. This is not going to be somebody wins big on Super Tuesday and everybody drops out. This is going to be a very long race.
Yeah. Or similar to, go ahead.
Sorry. I do think that Biden still pulls it out in the end because that is who the DNC wants. If anybody, if anybody is going to upset him, I think it's going to be Buttigieg.
Yeah.
But I think Buttigieg is really running for the VP spot or at least a cabinet position. But if he happens to keep doing well in polls, he will eventually take it as I'm running for president and I'm not running for a backup position.
Yeah, I mean, if he does well enough in Iowa, it could potentially propel him. I mean, here's the thing. You've got Warren and Bernie, Warren and Sanders are both from states that neighbor New Hampshire. They're both very popular in New England.
Right.
You could have a situation where they split that, New England socialist vote, and if Pete has had some really good press after winning Iowa, he could end up winning there.
Right.
He's not going to win South Carolina because he is almost as unpopular with black people as Trump is.
Or
because
Kamala
of his
Harris.
or Kamala Harris, or Kamala. Is it Kamala or Kamala?
I thought it was Kamala.
Doesn't matter now.
No?
But
It's
as
Senator.
Senator Harris,
Definitely not president.
definitely not President Harris. It's really hard to tell. I still say it's Biden. I think that people need to listen to us on this show because we've been saying from day one, it doesn't matter what Biden does.
No.
People are going to show up and go, "Oh, Joe Biden, yeah, that's Barack Obama's vice president." Boop. They're not paying attention to this stuff. Not like we are anyway. They might hear little bits and whatever, but unless they hear that he, called someone the N-word or,
Which really, we are like only one gaffe away from that.
we are. And it would be like a Papa John's type. Well, things have changed. You can't say that no more. And then,
Right, you can't call somebody that no more.
Yeah, and Corn Pop. I respected Corn Pop way too much to call him it. And it would be like that. It wouldn't be like, oh, I hate. It would be like, I love.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly what it would be.
That's like literally how it would be.
Bass just asked, do you think this drawn out Democratic primary favors Trump's reelection chances? Yeah. Bass is not from America. I just learned.
Why did you just learn that?
Because he spells favors with a U.
Oh, goodness.
He's either Canadian or English.
He might be one of those Australians.
Possibly Australia.
That we hear so much about.
Because Australia doesn't
the
actually
media
exist.
With their birds.
Yes. The drawn-out Democratic primary does favor Trump's reelection chances because they are going to start going so dirty against each other that Trump will just be able to use all of it for the rest
just
of the
in time for Trump to get acquitted in the impeachment. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but yes,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to help. So I'm still saying Biden with the possibility of Buttigieg, but that's what I would say. Here's the next
TV
one.
time.
Whoa.
So
nope.
No, we're not doing TV time?
Oh, yeah. No,
personal injury attorney Chris Reynolds here with TV time. So, as eagerly anticipated by everyone at Muddied Waters Media, it's that time of year again where we do our top 10 lists of the important things. And, of course, we're going to start off with TV.
Of course.
And so I wanted to, get the opinion of the guys other than Succession, obviously, and probably Fleabag and Schitt's Creek. What other TV shows or movies, you can throw in there if you want, would be in your top 10 best of the year? Thanks.
God. I don't watch TV. Yeah.
So, God, that's a question for me. I really wish I had listened to these earlier because I tried to put something together. The top 10, because he's right. Succession, I think, is the best TV show on TV right now. That show is so freaking good.
I saw The Shape of Water. My wife made me watch that, and it was all right.
That won Best Picture like 2 years ago.
I'm just saying. I'm not going to be much help on this. I would have said Game of Thrones, but that was terrible.
That was awful. So the series finale, the final season of Silicon Valley was just amazingly good. Just amazingly good, like shockingly good. There was a show on Showtime called On Becoming a God of Central Florida, or I believe that's what it was called, On Becoming a God of Central Florida. That show was addictively good. That show was amazing. It was funny. It was weird. It was out there. Highly recommend that one. Like Stranger Things and all those, they're all fantastic shows, but they're not like award worthy kind of stuff. Unless
Right.
you're talking about for like special effects. God, in movies, I haven't been keeping up with the movies. So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was excellent. That movie was great. I just watched that the other day. That movie was so freaking good. And I think that between that and The Irishman and oh God, what's the name of that movie? The movie with Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson about, it's on Netflix right now. I can't remember the name of that. It's called like Marriage Story or something. That movie. Those three movies are going to get nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. It's going to be tough to say which one will win. Probably The Irishman is going to win, which is going to be a huge win for Netflix. But I am rooting for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because Quentin Tarantino deserves it at this point, because he has not made a bad movie ever. As far as TV shows go, man, send us your favorite TV shows that you're watching from this year, and I will watch them. Anytime somebody's like, "Hey, watch this," I typically do, unless it's just something that I don't care about, like fantasy.
And see, when people tell me I should watch something, I reflexively don't. And I don't know why. It's like so people had been telling me since 2005 when it started that I would like The Office. And I'm like, I will never watch The Office. And I didn't see The Office until 2017. And I watched it, and when I watched all of it, and when I was done watching it, I said, what the hell did I do? And immediately someone said, you know what? Well, if you like that, then you would definitely like, and I don't remember what it was. Oh, and I saw Parks and Rec after that, and I was like, yeah, that was pretty good too.
Jacob LaBelle, yes, The Mandalorian. That show is so good. I'll never watch it.
I'll never watch it.
That's fine. I don't know if that show is going to win any awards or anything, but God, that show is good. That show is so fun.
Yeah.
It is so fun, and Baby Yoda is amazing.
Never watch it.
And before anybody's like, it's not Baby Yoda, it's baby whatever creature Yoda is that they've never named anywhere in any of the books or the series. Yeah, we get it.
Is it not Yoda?
No, it's not Yoda. He's just one of Yoda's species, but they never name that species anywhere in any of the books and any of the movies. You never hear what that species is, so we call it Baby Yoda online. In the movie or in the show, it's just called The Child.
Well, I'm still never going to see it. This is a perfect example. I keep hearing how great it is. Never.
You know what? You should not watch that show.
Let's go with the next question.
Personal injury attorney Chris Reynolds with your impeachment interlude. We had the House come up with its impeachment findings recently, and it got me thinking about a couple of things. One was I've been alive for 2 impeachments, and many people have been alive for 3, and it seems like maybe the frequency is increasing. And is that, is there a reason behind that, do you guys think? Technology, modernization of some sort, globalization, or is it just random chance that this is increased? And then also, how it might be affecting the presidency. I mean, he's at the NATO summit right now, and that's where the president has most of his power, and he's answering questions about impeachment. So I'd love your thoughts about NATO as well, and the impeachment. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, Matt, do you want to just go directly into our impeachment segment? Because that's next and kind of answers our thoughts on this as well.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So basically, speaking of impeachment,
Hey.
Donald Trump.
Thanks for the segue, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for the segue, Chris.
I love that I know that Chris Reynolds, personal injury attorney Chris Reynolds, attorney at law, is asking these questions while he's driving because you can hear his blinker.
And you can hear when he gets distracted for a second because he's like letting someone in or,
Yeah.
making sure he's got to get the right turn. But yeah, speaking of impeachment, Donald Trump is going to face impeachment. We've been waiting for this to literally happen since shortly after he was elected. We knew this was going to happen because they said they were going to do it.
Yes.
And here we are at long last, Matt.
We are finally here with there on the left, Jerry Nadler, who is kind of spearheading it at this point. Adam Schiff was the one who built the spear, and now Jerry Nadler is the one throwing it.
That's a combo for spear chucking, huh?
He is going to be brought up on 2 charges focusing on abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, which Kim Ruff's vice presidential candidate, John Phillips, stated today. Obstruction of Congress should not be an impeachable offense. It should be what we are all striving for. And John Phillips is right.
Correct.
Out of all of the VP candidates running today, he is my number 1 favorite.
Yep.
Now, Jerry Nadler famously said back during the Clinton impeachment, they must never be a narrowly voted I must have mistyped that. There must never be a narrowly voted impeachment or an impeachment substantially supported by one of our major political parties and largely opposed by the other. Such an impeachment would lack legitimacy, would provide divisiveness and bitterness in our politics for years to come. Now, I believe he is correct.
Right.
I believe that impeachment for William Jefferson Clinton has caused it where everybody has impeachment on the brain.
Right.
When you're looking at the possibility of Nixon getting impeached, which he never did, if you were looking at that possibility, many people on both sides were going to vote for it. If you go back to Andrew Johnson, many people on both sides voted for it. Both times that somebody got impeached, the Senate acquitted. This impeachment, I believe, is a direct result of the impeachment of Bill Clinton back in the 90s. They had, for 8 years, they looked for something on George Bush.
Right.
For 8 years. And on George Bush, they had so many more reasons than what they are doing to Trump today. And I'm not defending Trump. Don't get me wrong.
Nope.
I am not defending Trump. Don't like the guy. Don't really care if he's in office.
Don't care if he gets removed from office.
Don't care if he gets removed. But what?
I love this.
But yes, for George Bush, they had so many good reasons to impeach, but they never did, because as Bass just wrote on YouTube, the only thing a president won't get impeached for is a war crime.
Yes,
and
correct. Yes.
That is accurate.
Yep.
But what they had was legitimate for impeachment, but they wouldn't do it because they knew that every president from then on out would then face impeachment for the exact same thing.
And they'd be culpable as well.
And and every single person in Congress would be culpable as well. Trump is being impeached as a direct result of Bill Clinton being impeached. They don't care that it's one-sided. They don't care that I doubt a single Republican votes for this in the House.
No, and in fact, you're going to have a couple of you're going to have possibly, what's his name, from West Virginia, cross the aisle in the Senate to vote to acquit. I can see his face right now, and last name begins with an M. The senator from West Virginia. Wow.
I think that you're going to get a lot of people voting to not impeach in the House. People from
Manchin.
Who?
Senator Manchin is definitely going to cross the aisle to vote to acquit Trump, even though he's a Democrat.
Right. And you're going to have a lot of Democrats that are not going to vote for impeachment in the House because they are in swing states and in districts that heavily poll for Trump.
Yeah. So not only are
I think they have the votes to do it, but you're going to see a lot of Dems not vote for it and no Republicans vote for it.
You're going to have, not only is Donald Trump going to get acquitted, but the bipartisanship is going to be in the House of almost entirely Republicans with a few Democrats voting not to impeach. And then in the Senate, all of the Republicans and probably one and possibly even two, if Kristen Sinema, if she crosses over, you're going to have bipartisan support in the House to not impeach him and bipartisan support to acquit him. Again, it's going to be overwhelmingly Republican, but it's only going to be Democrats voting to impeach and then to remove. And if anyone thinks, and then Lindsey Graham said once this is all over, we're going to start looking into Burisma, which was Hunter Biden's, the company in the Ukraine that Hunter Biden was with. Right. So,
and anybody who hasn't seen the Joe Biden video where he brags about doing
shutting down
the thing that Trump is being impeached for, think about what happens if Biden wins.
Yeah. This is so. In the same way that this was, in retrospect, a slow-moving nightmare scenario for Democrats to have Donald Trump win the election in 2016, we're watching all that happen even more again for next year. Like, it's increasingly looking like this is happening. Not this could happen or this is probably going to happen. Once the impeachment is over, and if Joe Biden gets the nomination, this is happening. I could see Buttigieg beating Trump more so than Biden because the bases of support that don't like him, namely black people and people of color, they're going to line up to vote for him over Trump more than likely. They're not going to be happy about it, but they're going to do it because he's not Trump, and the Democrat machine is going to tell.
There have been numerous polls that there have been numerous polls where African-American voters are like 33% supporting Trump, which that's huge for a GOP.
Yeah, we shall see.
Yeah, I was going to say that one we're going to have to wait on because as we know from 2016 and many others, you can't trust the polls. But that is huge if that's true.
Oh, if that happened, then the Democrats are going to have a hard time winning another statewide election ever again, much less a national one. They rely on, heavy turnout among particularly black people, and for them to get at least like 85% support. So if they got somewhere in the 60s, it's going to be hard for them to win outside of New York, Hawaii, Washington State, D.C., Oregon, maybe, and like California. They're going to lose maybe New Mexico. They're going to lose like everywhere else and never win a national election. So I don't see that happening. What I could see happening if Buttigieg got it is a lot of, especially older and more socially conservative black people not showing up because he's gay. And they may not say it, and they may even in a poll go, oh yeah, I'm going to vote for that Buttigieg boy. And then they don't.
And then not.
They just don't show up. And their kids don't show up because, of how he has acted on racial issues as the mayor of South Bend. But I still see him potentially doing better against Trump. And liberals hate him because he's about as moderate as it gets. Not just in this cycle, but he's moderate by even like 2004 standards. He would have been considered a moderate running against Bush in 2004. Much less in today's cycle where, it's like socialism or bust for the Democrats. So it's very, very interesting how that's going to play out. So that's definitely what's going to happen. I just see now, so Ken Starr back in the news, Matt.
Yeah, Ken Starr, I mean, he's been a Fox News contributor reporter for a while now. Okay. This is his prime time for being a Fox News contributor.
Because it's about impeachment.
It's about impeachment, and he successfully impeached a president. But he has come out bragging that his impeachment was better than this one for a multitude of reasons. The biggest one being his was for, did Bill Clinton lie under oath about having sex with Monica Lewinsky? That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. And yes, he did.
Yeah.
Should he have been impeached for it? No. But he did lie under oath about having sex with Monica Lewinsky.
He did that.
These charges, abuse of power, obstruction of Congress, are so broad that it is hard to pinpoint, yes, he did this. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Ken Starr kept to the KISS model. Keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
He said very simply, did he lie? Did he not lie? Yes, he lied. This one, Jerry Nadler, Adam Schiff, everybody, abuse of power, obstruction of justice. Did he abuse power? Now, the Democrats are going to go, well, the Democrats are all going to vote yes. If they vote to impeach him, every Democratic president from here on out is going to face an impeachment.
Oh, yeah.
If there's a Republican Congress.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have this thing where no matter who wins, if the other side is able to get Congress, they're immediately going to find whatever pretext they can to impeach. And I'm actually not against that.
No.
Well, let me rephrase that. Part of the problem is, and I had a really good friend ask me, my thoughts about the Inspector General report that just came out. And I said, honestly, I don't follow it. This stuff's all palace intrigue to me. I already know what's going to happen. The House is going to vote to impeach. The Senate's going to vote to acquit. And that's what it is. And he said, well, do you think this is, the deep state or something like that? And I said, here's the thing. This is all theater. The Democrats right now are playing the opposition, and the Republicans are playing the leadership. And they're constantly in these battles of, I'm the, we're dead set against each other. They're the absolute evil and we're the absolute good. And yet they then turn around, and today's a perfect day. So today, or maybe it was yesterday, it was either today or yesterday, Nancy Pelosi came out and announced the impeachment hearings were going to start. An hour later, she announced that she was going to bring up that she supported Donald Trump's whatever the trade deal is called with the Mexico and Canada, and that she was going to bring it up for a vote and encourage everyone to support it. An hour later. This idea that they're fighting against each other is all theater. They have no problem coming together when it comes to renewing the Patriot Act or perpetually increasing spending, eliminating the debt ceiling. There is no more debt ceiling anymore. More debt, more war, more caging people, more laws, more control, more, terrible, insert terrible thing X here. But then they pretend, we hate each other. We absolutely hate each other. So that's, a perfect example of that. I would like to see Congress and the president actually be fighting each other on everything and not being able to get anything accomplished. That would be great. Not this theater of, we're going to get rid of you, but also we're going to send you a bunch of rubber stamp stuff on growing the government that you immediately sign off on so we can go back to pretending we're fighting each other. But that's me. Oh, 2 items. Was there anything else you wanted to cover on impeachment, Matt?
Real quick on the Jerry Nadler quote from where he said that he's apparently forgotten about that quote, and oddly enough was reminded by CNN's host Dana Bash about the quote, and she said, hey, back in 1998 you said there must never be a narrowly voted impeachment or an impeachment substantially supported by one of our major political parties and largely opposed by the other. Such an impeachment would lack legitimacy, would produce divisiveness and bitterness in our politics for years to come. He dodged that question and attacked Trump instead, saying, no, Trump did this, blah, blah, blah.
Because this is now his time to say the opposite of that. Because now he's the one wanting to impeach. And the Republicans are the ones saying that this time when, of course, they were the ones saying the opposite last time. So it's just, again, once you can pick up patterns, this is all just theater. So a couple of stories that were not in the notes, but that I added so Matt doesn't know about this. One of my friends and a hero to mankind, Rod Weber,
Ron Epstein
Yeah.
didn't kill himself, Weber.
Yeah, I sure did. And I'm going to see him in Nashville this weekend at the December gathering with Vermin Supreme, Saturday the 14th, 6 to 8 Central at the Margarita Hotel in Nashville, Tennessee. Beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. So just in case, I hope you enjoy your salmon.
Margaritaville Hotel, I believe, is on 2nd in downtown.
Oh, well, it's a shame you won't be there. But anyway, because you were invited.
I was invited. Yeah,
you were invited. You've been invited a couple times. But yeah, Rod Weber. There was
if more people would donate to this show, I'd be able to go.
Start a GoFundMe for Matt to come to Nashville this Saturday, to be able to cover it. But so at the Art Basel art gallery in Miami, in Florida, there's a piece of art, or was a piece of art, that was a banana taped to a white wall.
The banana wall.
The banana wall, which sold for $120,000. But also, it's a banana taped to a wall, so what exactly are you buying? Because you can't have the wall. So there it stood, and until a performance artist came and ate it, which was apparently okay. But what was not okay was a couple days ago, Rod, I think actually, was it yesterday? No, I think it was maybe it was Sunday. Yeah, it was 2 days ago. Rod showed up and wrote, Epstein didn't kill himself in red revolution colored lipstick. I know because I asked what the color was and he told me. He did intentionally misspell Epstein. And he wrote that. There's Rod there in the hat, crouched down at the bottom, with someone very concerned behind him. He was charged with multiple charges, is now out on bail for the crime of putting lipstick that is easy to wash off of a wall that routinely has art nailed to it. And they can easily wash it off. So he's being charged for that. And because it was okay to rip the banana off the wall and eat it, it was not okay to put lipstick on the wall.
Right.
So there's a hero there. In some sad news, a rapper that I had not heard of, but his name was Juice WRLD, and he was a big rapper with the kids right now. He was on an airplane and had some marijuana and some Percocets, I believe, and the pilot couldn't mind his own business, and so he called the police. They came to do a sting operation and arrest him. In a panic, he ate the Percocet and suffered a seizure and died. So yet another victim of the drug war, because a bunch of boomers are scared of substances that get you intoxicated and can potentially hurt you, but also aren't alcohol. So those two pieces of news.
Way to spin that into a story I would have been okay talking about, because when I first read it, I was like, nobody knows who this, like, I don't know who this guy is. Like, I feel bad for his family and everything, but
who is he? Right.
It's not a story that I'm going to do, like, that I'm going to put down. And then you were able to spin it. Nice job.
Drug war strikes again. And it's terrible. Like, I don't know who he is, but that doesn't mean he wasn't a valid human life that didn't deserve to die. He wasn't hurting anyone. True. He was literally, and people were going, oh, but he had all these drugs and he was probably going to die at some point anyway. Okay, even if that's true. Yeah, but it wasn't
at that minute, and you don't know that he was.
You don't know that he was. There are a ton of people that some people know who have smoked a lot of weed and done a lot of pills, I'm sure, who are still alive. And, possibly, you might even be looking at him. And so,
he's in South Carolina, and South Carolina.
Well, I'm talking about Matt, of course.
Right. Yeah. No, he's obviously talking about me, not the guy that's in South Carolina. Who?
Yeah. No, not me. God. But he did that, and it's his body, but also he wasn't looking to die that day. So it is sad. And speaking of the police victimizing people, Matt, something else. Turns out, do you have a better segue?
No, I mean, No, not for that. I kind of had stuff planned for the original order, but not for that one. I was like, got nothing.
I'm just blowing it up. I'm just blowing everything up.
Yep.
Hey, Matt, is there anything you want to talk about?
Hey, let's talk more about Broward County.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Broward County is the first county to convict somebody on a red flag law.
Oh, goody.
So not only did Broward County murder an innocent hostage and an innocent bystander this week, but they're the first county to convict somebody for a red flag law. Jaron Smith, 33 years old. I was like, man, that was a really quick photo of him.
Yeah, that was not Jaron Smith. This is Jaron Smith pictured with, I believe, his attorney.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Was accused in March of 2018 for failing to allow law enforcement officials to confiscate his weapons under the newly enacted Florida red flag law.
Yep. Yep. The red flag.
This is so upsetting.
Yeah. So, and just remember, while we're talking about this, Republicans and Democrats support this.
That's right.
Including your beloved Donald Trump.
Yes.
And your beloved Dan Crenshaw and your beloved Ted Cruz probably, but he's on the, it depends on who he's talking to. And it apparently even possibly Rand Paul. A red flag law states that police agencies are required to establish that a person is at high risk of using a firearm to commit a crime. How is this done? Tell us, Matt.
So basically, let's just assume.
Right.
Let's just assume. Actually, all right. So earlier today, I was having a conversation with somebody, and we were talking about this particular instance, and he said, me and somebody else have talked about how would be the best place to blow up low tide. He would come in from the back with a grenade. I would come in from the front with a grenade, and we would just kill everybody inside. Okay. We were talking some video game. I don't know. I don't play video games. I'm not sure. Call of Duty, probably.
Okay.
We're talking proper Call of Duty tactics, but not actually talking about it. Right. Now, I could take that and call in a red flag law and call for a risk protection order on either of the two people involved in this.
Right.
And the police would then take it to a judge, and the judge would have to say, yeah, it's a possibility that they mean that, and they would be mandated to turn in their weapons.
Without a warrant or without any due process of them being able to fight that order.
Now, in the case of Jaron Smith, 33, he was accused of shooting at a car driven by a friend he was having an argument with over a cell phone, over a borrowed cell phone.
Okay.
Not a person was hurt in the incident. Granted, shooting at a car is a crime.
Correct. And a crime for a reason. This is a legit victim. This has a crime. Like, this has a victim. It's an actual crime.
Right. That is a legitimate crime that was committed.
Right.
The police jumped at the chance to obtain a risk protection order. They went to a judge. To receive it. Now, under this law, which Jaron Smith didn't know, you don't have a right to an attorney being present, nor do you have a right not to allow police entry into the home without a warrant.
Right.
I'm going to say that again.
Yeah.
Under this law, you do not have a right to an attorney being present, and you do not have a right to not allow police into your home without a warrant.
Like what the Fourth Amendment says you do have a right to.
Right. Now, the risk protection orders are civil actions against people. That is how they're getting around it. They are civil actions against people, but defying one is a criminal act.
They are civil actions, which makes them not a violation of the Fourth Amendment. But if you violate it, it's a criminal act.
Right.
It's not a criminal action, because that would violate the Fourth Amendment. It's a civil one. But don't violate it, because that's a criminal charge if you do
That's
that.
a criminal charge if you do.
This civil
Brandon,
act.
We are only talking Florida's law here. I don't know how other states' laws are written up. I didn't look into all of them. I only looked into this one because
Right.
this story is the one that hit this week.
I venture to guess that they're all similar.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that many of them are very similar.
Right.
Now, police convinced a judge that removing weapons from the defendant is warranted. If the judge does make this determination, the defendant has no choice but to surrender the weapons or place them in the care of an independent person who can possess the weapons legally, with the understanding that they cannot give them back to the defendant.
Yep.
So
without
if
a
I
warrant.
if I were to call on one of the two people that were involved in that conversation today and said, these two people were thinking about blowing up Low Tide, you may want to take their weapons from them, they have no choice but to surrender the weapons or give the weapons to somebody who can legally possess them.
And to be clear, these people weren't seriously talking about doing it. They were talking about applying, Call of Duty tactics to something and joking around. It was not like they're seriously going to do this. And for that matter, you could just call the police and lie about someone.
Right.
You could just make something up. This person just said they're going to blow up the country. They could say anything.
Which, if you read this story, Jaron Smith was accused of shooting a car driven by a friend he was having an argument with over a stolen cell phone. He wasn't charged. He wasn't convicted. He was accused.
He was accused.
He was accused of this.
And so the deputies told Smith, Jaron, that he was required to surrender his weapons and his attorney could challenge the order at a later hearing. Jaron refused to comply because he thought the Constitution was a thing. So he said, no, I want my attorney present and I want you to come back with a warrant. So instead they arrested him for thinking he had the Fourth Amendment right to not be searched or seized without a warrant.
Right. During the trial, Jaron admitted that he had a concealed carry permit. The prosecutor, we could call her Kamala Harris. The prosecutor, Kamala Harris, will say, probably not her, but
someone
just so
like
you get
her.
an idea of what kind of awful person would do something like this.
Right.
Kamala Harris convinced the jury that because he had a concealed weapons permit, he understood every right of every gun law. And while he did understand every right of every gun law, he did not understand the intricacies of every gun law.
Because no one does, including a lot of these lawmakers that sign that vote for these laws because the public opinion polls say to. I guarantee you there are at least more than a couple of lawmakers who signed this thing having no clue that it would be used in this way. It took the jury under an hour, and he has been convicted of telling police come back with a warrant. That's literally what he's been convicted of.
Right.
He's not being accused, charged, or convicted of any violent crime. He's being convicted and faces up to 5 years for not wanting to give his guns over without a warrant and mistakenly believing that he had the constitutionally protected right to say that.
I'm going to look up to see if his sentencing started today.
I want you to think of what you were doing 5 years ago from today. Because we talk about, 5 years in jail, and unless you've actually done time in jail, it's like an abstraction. We're talking about, like what. Imagine 5 years ago. Just picture what you were doing 5 years ago. And picture all the things you have done between that time and now. Now imagine if you spent all of that time locked in a cage that you could not leave.
For trying to stand up for the rights the Constitution is supposed to give you.
For literally saying I'm not going to let you take my gun, come back with a warrant because that's what the Constitution says. And now for all of that time, from 5 years ago till today, today, all of those things that have happened in those 5 years, you've been almost completely, you're coming out to a world that looks 5 years different from when you went in, missed out on all that time with your loved ones, family. You're now branded with a gun crime, a gun charge. Good luck getting a good job. Because when the police came to your house and said, we're going to take your gun, you said, well, actually, I think that you need a warrant to do this. I'm not going to let you come in. That's what Jaron is being charged for. He has not been convicted of shooting at anyone. He has not been charged with shooting at anyone. And he may be. And he may end up being convicted. He may have done it.
Right.
He may have
In
done
which
it.
case,
We have
yes,
no
that
idea.
is a crime that he should be charged and convicted with.
That is a crime he should be charged and convicted with.
Right. What he did, what this is about, is not a crime he should be charged with nor convicted of.
He not only did nothing wrong, this is precisely what the founders were protecting from, or thought they were protecting from, when they did this in the first place. Now this, friends, brings up 2 points. Number one, Lysander Spooner said that the Constitution is a sheet of paper that says you have rights and does nothing to functionally protect them. And that whether it be something that has authorized government to treat you the way it treats you and treat Jaron the way it treated him, or whether it's simply powerless to do anything about it, it is simply unfit to exist as a document that we are governed by.
Right.
Secondly, a jury took under an hour to decide this. And there's a good chance that the reason is because often you've got a prosecutor and a judge giving incredibly strict instructions to juries saying, if you believe that this happened, you have to vote to convict. If you believe that he said this, you have to vote to convict. What they won't actually tell you, and what in many cases defense attorneys are not allowed to tell you, is that if you don't think that the crime that this person is being accused of is an actual crime or should be a crime, or if for whatever reason you don't want to vote to convict, you don't have to vote to convict.
You don't have to vote to convict. And as we've said it on the show multiple times, numerous times, I talk about it any chance that I can. The greatest form of activism any of us have is jury duty.
Correct.
I know that we all try to get out of it. I don't. I try to get in it. I show up at the court. I am dressed up. Like I am ready.
Right.
Because I want to get on a jury just in case I get a case like this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be awful when I get a case where it's like, oh man, this guy's so guilty, but I'm going to be stuck here for 2.5 weeks. Well, they parade out every character witness that they can, but this dude definitely just murdered 14 people or something. But in which case, it's actually going to be kind of awesome too. But
well, and that's the thing, you know, if you get that kind of a case where someone murdered, raped, you know, kidnapped, and it's obvious they did it. Again, we're not in favor of the government being in charge of doing this stuff, but they've assumed the authority of doing these things. And if
we give it to them.
Yeah, you know, I'm not going to have a problem with saying, yeah, if this person committed murder and there's serious compelling evidence that they did it. Although now we're seeing that a lot of this DNA evidence, including hair strand testing, is all BS. It's all malarkey. And there's a whole racket around that. So, I mean, even that, I mean, unless they've confessed or they've got video of them doing it, I'm going to be skeptical of that. But if you're talking something like this, a Jaron Smith telling the police, I come back with a warrant, you vote not guilty. And if they ask you why, you say, I don't think he did it. It's none of their business. I voted not guilty. I don't think he's guilty.
Right.
Period.
You, as a citizen, have the greatest power with jury duty.
Yep.
You can go to jury duty. You can be on a jury, and you can change the outcome of somebody's life forever.
Yeah.
Because if you disagree with the law, you can vote that person's not guilty.
Yep. And if nothing else, you hang that jury. So
you hang that jury.
Even if you're not able to convince everyone else that he's not guilty, if you and one or two other people do it, the prosecutors are going to have to swallow hard on something like this and say, do we want to go through this trial again? and have this happen yet again and waste all the time and resources and look like a joke in front of our bosses and in front of the voters and everything else. At the very least, you've bought them some time and you have flummoxed. I'm using all the old boomer terms today. You flummoxed them with their own malarkey. They've been hoisted by their own petard.
Do you know what that means?
That means that when someone that had something that was aimed to hurt someone else ends up being used against them. And that's a Shakespearean term.
That is a Shakespearean term. So anytime you get jury duty, go. Because you could save Jaron Smith 5 years.
Yeah.
You could save somebody who has a possession of, I don't know if they still arrest for possession of marijuana anywhere, a possession of some drug, however much time. In the case of Michael Edwards, it could have been his entire life.
Yeah.
You have this power, you and you alone, and only one person on a jury can hang a jury.
Yep.
You can change the course of people's lives by doing jury duty and ruling not guilty on laws that you don't think are just. I'm not asking you to go there on a murder trial and let anybody off because you just because you want to be a pog in the system or
a rebel. Yeah.
No, like I'm not recommending that. Don't do that.
No.
But you have the power to let people who are being arrested for unjust laws free.
Yeah.
It is the greatest activism that we have.
And people that are being railroaded on legit charges, because a lot of times you get jurors and they don't like that guy. And they will, even though it's not relevant to the court case, they'll drag up a bunch of other stuff that the person's been accused of or previously convicted of, has nothing to do with that case. And they get the jurors who go on there and go, that guy, I don't like the cut of his jib. Man, I'm hitting him with all of it. I'm hitting all of the Joe Biden. I'm channeling Joe Biden in this.
You are boomering up this episode.
I am boomering. I don't like the cut of his jib. And then they vote to convict him. Right. And there might be just scant evidence. And again, look into this thing with the hair strand testing. There are going to be thousands of convictions that are vacated, including, unfortunately, a lot of convictions that are going to be after the person died in prison on this hair strand stuff, because it was BS science. It was nowhere near as conclusive as they thought it was. The scientists knew it, and they lied about it. And it happened for decades, and everyone knew it. So you really got to make sure, even on the murder, rape, and whatever charges, that guilt's beyond a reasonable doubt according to your definition of reasonable doubt, not what the judge is telling you. So that is our message to you.
As Desiree Lindsay just said on Facebook, don't tell them you're a libertarian. They won't pick you. That is actually kind of true.
Yeah.
If they may ask you if you know what jury nullification is. If you say yes, I'm not saying lie, but if you say yes, there is a good chance that they don't pick you.
Yeah, like a really good chance. But so, I mean,
try to refrain from any talk about political stuff. Just answer the questions that they ask you and try to keep it as non-political as possible.
Which is hard, but just try. Come in looking, buttoned up and clean cut as you can, and yes sir, no sir, and try to look like a model juror, and go in there and wreak havoc, man. Like, I mean, that's really the best thing we can do. And in positions of power, we need to let people know about jury nullification. Right. Positions of power and prominence, because most people don't know. And I've even talked to people who think it's illegal. What's illegal is lying. But you can just say, I didn't think they were guilty. You don't have to say why you don't think they were guilty.
That's right. Now, if you were to go to a jury room where they're getting ready to do the jury selection and you start handing out pamphlets on jury nullification, you will probably be arrested.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully when your trial comes, somebody who got your flyer on jury nullification is in that jury.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And I mean, again, just keep pushing for jury nullification when you can. They can't stop you from telling people. Pamphlets, they might give you a hard time, especially if you're in a courthouse or something like that. But Jacob LaBelle says, can I call in a civil action against Amy Klobuchar? You certainly can. Try. You could say that she's been
Do they have a red
people
flag law up there?
Minnesota?
Yeah. Jacob LaBelle, if you're still on, which I'm certain you are because, you're one of the real ones.
He's a real one.
He is a real one. If you're still on, let us know if Minnesota has a red flag law, and you'll quickly know if you can call in a civil action. Matt
Hicks says all gun control is... I'm going back pretty far in the comments. Matt Hicks says all gun control is racist. Racist, you're damn right. Dave Jones says mandatory mud wrestling, 5th Avenue, y'all. That's mandatory mud wrestling over at the Nashville Libertarian Party December gathering with Vermin Supreme, covered exclusively by Muddy Waters Media, Saturday, December the 14th, this Saturday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Time at the Margarita Hotel in Nashville. Not the Margarita Restaurant, the Margarita Hotel. And it's actually the restaurant inside of the Margarita Hotel, but not the Margaritaville restaurant. It's the Margaritaville Hotel, which has a restaurant in it, which for some reason is not also a Margaritaville. Go figure. So be sure to come into that. Apparently there's going to be mud wrestling, which doesn't surprise me. And Rod Weber's going to be there. Rod Epstein didn't kill himself, Weber. He's going to be there. Good friend. Yeah.
So remember, if you get selected for a jury, and yes, Tony, I'm not even going to attempt that. Tony on Facebook. Yeah, most of us have never been picked for a jury in our lives, and most likely many of us never will. But if you are, this is the greatest activism you can do as an individual.
It absolutely is. It is.
So if you do get picked, remember this. Remember this. Remember this show. Remember this moment. Remember Jaron Smith.
Yeah.
God, I was guessing on that name because I had to move away from the notes.
No, it was Jaron. Yeah, good job.
I was like,
yeah.
God, I hope that's right. Remember Jaron Smith. Remember that? Okay, so I saw some comments from the Baltimoreans, the Baltimoreans over on YouTube, Sarah and Bass.
Okay.
And there was a red flag incident that we definitely talked about on the show.
Yes.
In Maryland.
Yep.
Where a guy's sister called and said that she was afraid that her brother is going to, hurt himself or somebody else. And they did a red flag warrant. They showed up at his house early, pounding on the door. He grabs his gun because he has no idea what's happening.
Because it's 5 a.m.
Right. He shows up. He's there, gun drawn, not understanding that the cops are there to take his guns to do this red flag law, this risk protection order.
Right.
The cop says, lower your weapon or I will shoot you. He says, no, show me a warrant. He says, I don't have to show you a warrant. He thinks, yes, you do. 4th Amendment right. Yep. I'm not lowering my gun.
Yes.
Bam. Boom. Dead.
Yep.
The sister then says, why did you do that? He wouldn't hurt a fly.
Stop calling the police on your loved ones.
Story.
Yeah, no.
This is a true story.
Yep.
Do not call the police on your loved ones.
A neighbor who was concerned about, and I wish I could remember her name, but in Texas, who was concerned because the door was open and there had been some robberies there. And so instead of just going by and saying, hey, is everyone okay? Or just minding your own business, this person called the police. And now, to be fair, they didn't expect the police to go over and start shooting into the house immediately. But that's exactly what he did. He went over, the cop went over, saw that people were playing video games, started yelling, put your hands in the air, put your hands in the air, put your hands in the air. They weren't responding because they had one of these suckers on playing video games. It was a woman and her niece, or her nephew. I wish I could remember her name.
Nephew or grandson?
No, it was a nephew. She was a kid. She was young. She was like in her 20s. And yeah, she was a kid. And like an honors student and, all of that stuff. And she's playing games with her nephew. And so he blasts him. And thankfully it doesn't hurt the nephew, but killed her. Stop calling the police on loved ones. If you care about them, go see if they're okay. Ask someone else you trust. Maybe mind your business.
You have Tusk on the brain. Stop thinking of narwhals. Trust.
Trusk. You got to get that narwhal's Trusk.
We
Stop
have a
calling the
celebrity
police.
over on YouTube asking us questions.
Do we? Oh, the
Yeah,
philosopher.
the philosopher.
What do you guys think are possible triggers for the boog? Honestly, the boog's not happening. I don't want to be a defeatist here, but there might be limited instances of resistance against the police. But you just saw what happened to the Whiskey and Rebellion guy in New York. He gave the call for the boog. He himself didn't shoot anyone, but he called for the boog. A few people showed up. No one actually did anything. You might have a limited situation like the Bundy Ranch standoff, or the other things that happened with Ammon Bundy and things like that. An actual like full blown armed revolt. Maybe Matt
Now,
thinks differently, but I
yes,
think it would have happened.
I do, but I don't.
Okay.
I think that there will be. I do think that there will be a moment where the boog could happen.
Okay.
The philosopher says that wasn't the lead because it wasn't a verified situation, which I get. We didn't know that was a red flag law gun grab. It was just that was what he was saying.
It's what he was saying.
That's what he was saying, but there was no verified. Like if it had been verified, that's what it was. More what could have happened. I'm not going to say it would have. Now, I do think that if at any point they start going door to door to take guns from just everybody, no red flag laws, just, okay, these guns are now outlawed, we're coming to take them. I think that is what it would be the trigger where it's like, yeah, you better not show up at my door because I will shoot everybody. I think that is what happens. I don't. Okay. So she was asking what things could trigger it.
Well, yeah, and you just said what, a thing that could trigger it.
I think that would trigger it. I think that any bill banning weapons would trigger it, like anything along those lines. I don't think these minuscule, I don't want to call them minuscule, but in the great scheme of 350 million Americans, a red flag law being served on one person, even though it's multiple people it's being done on, none of these individual cases are the ones that are going to do it. I could be wrong, and one of these could spark the boog, but
fair enough. And I guess the other thing I'm thinking is that the government's fairly smart on this kind of stuff. You'll notice they don't do a lot of mass confiscation. They will ban something moving forward, so you can't buy it anymore, and then through attrition over time, you can't transfer it to anyone, and that kind of stuff. So over time, they just sort of limit the supply. There was never any like confiscation of machine guns when they passed the National Firearms Act in the 30s, which the NRA supported, by the way.
Right.
But the good luck finding a machine gun. And ultimately, the only people that have machine guns are the people that can afford these ridiculous stamp, ATF, whatever they're called.
Tax stamps, whatever they're
tax
called,
stamps to be able to get them. So it's basically machine guns only for the rich and not for, the poor who might actually want or need them. And like the philosopher just said, red flags are insidious because they can be painted as justified more easily. And that's exactly the case.
Yeah,
they can
absolutely.
say, oh, well, this person was a threat. Their own family called them in. Or, Jaron Smith, it looks like he might have shot someone. And we go, oh, well, that's terrible. And it puts us on the defensive of saying, well, we don't defend that. We're just saying you have a right to due process. This person has not been convicted of anything. In many cases, has not even been charged with anything. They've simply been accused of something. And it's way too easy to just accuse someone of something, which was supposedly the whole purpose for the Fourth Amendment in the first place, that you actually had to have someone sign off on you having your rights removed, and even temporarily, and you could have an attorney represent you in trying to fight this, not after the fact. This is just property. Property. Where they seize people's property before trial.
Oh crap! What is that? Civil asset forfeiture.
Civil asset forfeiture. This is civil asset forfeiture for guns, but just for guns, and only because you've been accused of something.
Right.
Usually with civil asset forfeiture, you at least have to be charged with something. So it's just ridiculous. Now, and Ignat71 mentioned the LA riots, and that's a good point. These things can happen. I guess when I think of the Boogaloo, I'm thinking of like this massive armed revolt more so than pockets of things popping off, which could absolutely happen. Could a small scale Boogaloo happen? Yes. When I'm thinking of this, post, U.S. government society where, you've got a bunch of people in Hawaiian shirts and panoramic night vision goggles going around, blasting everyone with a badge. I just don't see that happening. I do see, can pockets of stuff happen? Yeah, absolutely. That can definitely happen. And it would be gun confiscation. That would be a big one. It would be like with the LA riots where the police just did something obviously heinous and then completely got off scot-free. But unfortunately, we just saw in Broward County, people are just getting used to it, and they're getting used to defending it. They're just looking the other way.
People are just accepting it.
They're just accepting it at this point. Like, for a long time, they denied it. Oh, well, that's just the criminal's word against the cop. Well, now we've got cameras everywhere, so it's not the criminal's word against the cop. And a lot of people it's called the normalcy bias. Most of us just want to believe that the police are out to protect us. And yeah, there's some bad apples, but overall they're mostly good apples in the bunch. And these criminals, you can't trust them. Can't trust what they're saying. And overall it all washes out in the end. Most of the time, it's the cops are the good guys and the criminals are the baddies. And and if you don't have anything to hide, then there's nothing you should be worried about. Most people just want to believe that because it's the easiest thing to believe. It's the easiest thing that allows them to just keep their head down and go about their day and work their asses off to pay all these taxes.
To the philosopher, hey, you, me, Jack, we need to get together. We live way too close to not ever see each other.
Please do. And please eat some of his salmon. Because it's not right that I can't.
Listen.
No. Yes.
My salmon is not socialism salmon.
It's unacceptable that Matt Wright has 95% of the salmon, and I only have the salmon that they have at the Kroger. That's actually pretty good because they get to put the black pepper on it. But it's not the honey maple smoked salmon from the Blue Hill Bay. Blue Hill Bay. It's unacceptable. It's not right, and it's not fair. And this country could do better than that. So go eat it. Jerky salmon, that's correct. It is.
To the philosopher and Jack, you guys can have any of my salmon that you want, just because you guys are great.
It's Darren. Ignat71 is Darren P
Darren
from the Vermin Supreme campaign. Big ups to Darren.
Came for your Jewish accent.
Who said that?
The philosopher. She came for your Jewish accent.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why everyone tunes in, right? It's like the point of the show. Everyone just waits, like, is he going to do it? And I go,
is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? There it is. Yay.
It's like on Seinfeld when Kramer would show up. And everyone was like, yeah. And then Kramer's like, woo, Kramer. I'm the Kramer of this show. That's actually pretty accurate.
That's actually, that's pretty close. Yeah.
Oh, now I'm being given things to say. Let me be very clear. We are going to stand up against the salmon hoarders and the corruption inherent in the system.
You're not taking my salmon. Like, you're not. Like, if you can have some of my salmon, you just have to come down here.
I have a human right to salmon, Matt.
You do. You can come down here and you can have it.
No, I don't want to have to do anything. I just want salmon. Oh, no, actually, no. I'll come down there, but I want the salmon. I'm confused now.
Larry David impersonation.
What's that?
Excellent Larry David impersonation.
Thank you. That actually is more like Larry David than,
yeah. It is a lot more like Larry David.
I'm both the Larry David and the Kramer of this show.
Right.
And also the George. And a little bit of the Elaine. You're the Jerry. who steals my
That's true.
dad's
Being
jokes.
Kramer isn't bad unless you do the racist bit.
Yeah,
Sarah
no.
Brannion says that you aren't the Kramer Chris Reynolds is. Which I'll accept. Like,
It just kind of pops in like,
yeah, it's just like,
"Hey,"
oh,
and then
look,
he's gone.
yay, Chris is here. Chris is here. He's got questions. He's going to
comes
ask
in,
us
like,
about
"Whoa,
television.
Whoa, everybody. And he's gone. And I was like, oh, that was so funny. He's so irreverent. So wait, then I'm the George.
Uh,
Am I the George?
please don't do Jerry. Jerry was the worst.
Jerry was terrible. Jerry was the worst part of that. Jerry Seinfeld steals my dad's jokes. Also.
Jerry Seinfeld does steal your dad's jokes,
Like,
which
we
I
have-
thought were your jokes, which I'm now learning you stole from your dad or inherited.
Oh, did I say they were mine?
Yeah, you said that they were yours.
Well, they're the family's. He's stolen from my dad.
That's fair.
Which means he's stolen
not
from
fair.
me because I was going to inherit them. So it is
Right, yeah.
a theft from me.
Right, it is a theft from you. I was actually talking about that the other day about how Jerry Seinfeld stole your jokes, which apparently you stole from your dad.
Just the
But,
worst. Just the worst. It just makes me sick. It just
What
makes
is
me...
the deal with airplanes?
What is the deal with the socks on the dryer? They're never going to find them again.
They're just inch away.
I'm asking you. Makes me sick. All of his funny jokes from my father.
Every single one.
All of them.
Good night to the philosopher.
Yeah,
gonna
good night.
get some pho.
Go have some pho to prepare your stomach, and then go to Matt's house and eat all of his salmon.
That's right.
As is your human right.
We will always stay principled and funny. And you guys are awesome. Tell Jack we said hi, and
We love him.
yeah, let's get together soon.
Let's definitely do that. Hey, guys, you should come
And by
up.
let's, I mean me, not Spike, because
No, me
Spike
too.
doesn't come visit me in
You
Florida.
should definitely come up to the December gathering with Vermin Supreme. Saturday the 14th. This Saturday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central, the Margaritaville Hotel in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. High of 56 that day, Matt.
Actually, not bad for Nashville this time of year.
That's what I'm told. I'm told that
Now-
but I think it's going to rain, though.
Look, you have to do me. You're not really a coffee drinker, but you're going to have to do me a favor.
Okay.
You're going to have to go to 12th Avenue South.
Oh, no.
This is non-negotiable.
Is this like the hood? I don't really know.
No, it's not. No, God, no. You're going to have to go to 12th Ave South.
Okay.
If you're heading on 12th Ave South, there is a coffee shop there called Frothy Monkey. You need to go there, and you need to get a mocha from there.
Uh-huh.
And I just want a video, possibly slow motion video of you drinking this.
I don't want to drink coffee.
I don't care.
I'm like so naturally jittery and nervous already, and you want me to, before covering Vermin Supreme, oh, that's why you want me to drink caffeine.
Well, no, it's because that is the best coffee in the world. That coffee shop is the greatest coffee shop on the planet.
Okay.
Desiree Lindsay, no.
Desiree knows this?
Well, she just wrote frothy in all caps, so I'm assuming
No,
she
she just said that word is being ruined by Santorum,
oh,
which is,
well,
that's funny.
Frothy Monkey, I was actually drinking out of their mug earlier today. I was going to have it on the show, and then I finished my coffee. So I didn't. But that coffee shop is fantastic if you go there.
By the way, Sean Whitehead with like some really quality anti-cop comments here. I can't even. There's just so many.
Man, we gave so many earlier.
He had a bunch of them, but basically, yes, all good stuff. Fotini Henderson, thank you for letting me know civil asset forfeiture. I'm reading it now. But yeah.
Apparently, thanks to Kingsley, they've been updating the site servers today on Float. So the reception over on flote.app has been a little spotty. That is not going to be a regular thing over there, which I knew wasn't going to be a regular
Yeah.
thing. I knew this was kind of a one-off, but
yeah, because it's been incredibly it's been incredibly stable the whole time we've been using it, which is for months now. So I figured it was a one-off. So and that makes sense. King, thanks for letting us know. Upgrading for your pleasure, guys, over at float.app. Jacob says just chug a fifth of CBD, Spike. So I'll be in Tennessee doing the Elvis special. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, I mean, you're doing the Elvis special in the same way that a Yugo is a Ferrari.
Granted. I'm trying to figure out how to work. No, that doesn't work for that. Sean Whitehead said that I can be his gay boyfriend for 5 minutes, which is the height of this show.
Man, I didn't even see that one.
I mean, I can do a lot in 5 minutes.
That's true. That's true. That's what your wife says.
I'm not disputing that. But have you seen her? Huh? Dave says there's snow on the ground here in the whiskey region of Tennessee. Dave, you're not helping because I am a child of the heat and the warmth. This is me in my natural habitat. I am a sweet summer boy through and through. And I'm not down with the extreme cold. That's not. Sarah Brandon says this like the lamest speedball ever.
Yeah,
hot.
Yeah, it is. Like,
mocha and CBD oil.
if River Phoenix was using that kind of speedball, he'd still be with us today.
He'd actually be in excellent health. He'd have great heart health from the caffeine and very little joint pain from the CBD oil.
Right. Like he would be totally fine. His creativity through the freaking roof.
Through the roof. That's funny. Oh man. Darren says hope to see everyone there. Nashville might be a little fun. Oh, it might be fun, all right. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. Desiree says I need that poster on my ceiling. Well, Desiree, you can for the low price of $12 get. Well, it's not a poster size; it's like calendar size, but you can get this. It has Vermin in it. Has Vermin Supreme. Desiree Lindsay, by the way, is Vermin Supreme's campaign manager.
Right here, if anybody wants a closer look at it.
Yeah.
Let me grab it off of my wall.
$12.
This is going to give you an idea on the size.
That includes shipping and taxes.
That's right. Now, so here we go. It's signed by Spike.
Yeah, I even signed it.
Yeah. To me, he wrote, "I'll never forget our time together. I believe you are going to do amazing things. Summer of '97 forever."
Summer of '97.
Summer of '97. And the where's Vermin? What's Vermin? July?
Vermin is no, he's not December because that's
he's not December.
He's October?
Maybe. Yep.
Yeah, he's October. And he
here
did
we
the full
have,
Monty with some cartoon gloves on.
Yep, with the Mickey Mouse cartoon gloves. And if you look closely, Vermin halfway signed this.
Oh. And if you look even more closely, you're going to stop looking. Also, I've seen the outtake photos.
Oh yeah, you're right. You don't want to. You do not want to inspect that very closely.
And then there are the outtake photos where the cartoon gloves did not do very well in hiding anything.
Right.
So yeah, $12. You two can have that. And if you ever have it and see me in person, I will sign it for free.
So if you happen to be in Nashville this weekend, you have one of these, you can get Spike to sign it, and possibly, I'm not going to speak for him, but possibly Vermin Supreme to sign half of his name.
Possibly Vermin might sign Vermin.
He just did Vermin. He didn't give me Supreme.
Oh, well, that's the big part, honestly. So, yeah, be sure to tune in then. Oh, by the way, so we have said that starting next week, everything changes.
Oh, yeah. We need a new clue.
Everything. But I can't tell you what is changing. So instead, with each week, for the last, 3 weeks, I have been giving useless clues. that in no way help you determine what exactly the hell is going to happen starting next week.
That's right. The first one was recreational cocaine.
Yep, the first one was recreational cocaine. The second one was...
Oh.
I think it was it Santa Claus?
Could have been.
It was something equally useless, like Santa Claus. And here is your final clue. So be sure to write it down and do some cross-referencing. Your final clue is cheesy bread. Cheesy bread.
And for anybody out there, I know what this is. And Spike comes up with these clues all on his own. I know how one of them
Fits.
relates.
Right.
The
Yeah,
others, I have no idea.
If you know what the surprise is, these clues are still no help to you. In no way can you figure out, unless I actually tell you, which I won't, how these clues relate to the thing that you already know.
Right.
And there's only like 3 people. Well, no, there's a few people I know. But I'm already saying too much. It's going to be big starting next week.
I'm not reading that comment out loud. It's from Darren on Instagram.
On Instagram or on YouTube?
Or on YouTube, sorry. Yeah, on YouTube, not on Instagram. We don't stream to Instagram.
Yeah, I was going to say we're on Instagram.
No, that's amazing, though.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not going to say that either.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
It's not that, though. But it's definitely not that. But it is going to be insane.
In the membrane.
In the membrane.
In the membrane.
Insane in the brain.
That's right. So, if you want
It's going to be insane
to know what this is live, be sure to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/muddiedwatersmedia. You can also follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/muddiedwatersmedia. You can follow us on Twitter at muddied_waters. You can follow us on Instagram at muddiedwatersmedia. And you can follow us on Float at float.app/muddiedwatersmedia. You can also listen to us at anchor.fm/muddiedwaters. And you can find this and every other episode at muddiedwatersmedia.com.
And you will... That was by the way, that segue was...
Thank you. I was really proud of that one.
That was a good one because I was just going to keep rambling.
I know.
So not only was that a good segue, but that was a good way to corral me. So good job on both fronts, Matt. Guys, thanks again for tuning in. Be sure to come check us out either in person or live streaming the December Gathering with Vermin Supreme on this Saturday, the 14th, 6 to 8 Central, which in normal people time is 7 to 9. But in Marxist Central Time, 6 to 8. Eastern Time game.
In Marxist Pacific Time, it's, I don't know, like 4.
4, yeah. And in Marxist Mountain Time, it's 5 to 7. Right? Yeah. But yeah, 7 to 9 over here with the normies. And so, guys, thanks again for tuning in. Oh, and be sure to tune in next week for the Muddy Waters of Freedom, where Matt Wright and I will be parsing through the week's events with the love and cheer and the gleeful happiness of the sweet autumn cherubs that we are. And then,
if you want to donate to make sure I can get to Nashville this week,
yes,
PayPal, muddiedwatersofreedom@gmail.com, or anchor.fm/muddiedwaters and just hit the donation button.
Yeah, I think it's donate button.
Yeah, I think it's.
So be sure to give us money.
I can be in Nashville for this event.
Give us money. Would you say no to this face?
He's not trying to get money.
Would you say no to this face? You probably would. So, yeah. Guys, thanks again for tuning in. Oh, and next week, on a very special episode of My Fellow Americans, it is we're working on it, but I think we're going to be having a very Coppinger Christmas, where Sam Coppinger is going to be roasted by Mike Shipley and either John Hudak, Joshua Smith, or both John Hudak and Joshua Smith. and Sam is going to hold up scorecards for each joke.
And next week, very, very tentatively.
Oh, yeah. You've got an episode.
There will be a new episode of The Writer's Block.
The Writer's Block returns.
And I'm not going to say who my guests are.
You won't believe who it's going to be.
I'll announce that next Tuesday.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a great show. I'm super excited about it. I am very excited about it. It's going to be a great show. And
it's going to be really,
anybody
really good.
who cares about people being unjustly held in prison for very long periods of time, you're going to love it too.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And by the way, none of those things are our surprise. Our surprise is insane.
Yeah, our surprise is idiotically insane.
It is like, I haven't wrapped my head around it yet. Every once in a while, I stop and think, what the hell is about to happen? So guys, thanks again for tuning in.
Oh, and real quick, the song that we opened with that I'm pretty certain we're closing with.
Yeah. We're closing with it too, yeah.
Yeah, that is the Narcissist Cookbook. He does the intro music to The Writer's Block. He has a brand new album. It's out today. It's called Hymn, Hymn. Hymn. I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. Hymn. It's pronounced. It's a Hymn. Fantastic album. Listen to it. Listen to everything he's ever done. The guy is amazing. Good friend of mine. But give it a listen and share it with your friends, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Narcissist Cookbook. We love him. Guys, thanks again for tuning in. And where we're going,
we don't need roads.
When the days get shorter and the sky begins to pale, when the winds are howling down the high-walled cobbled lane, I write my name in the sycamore leaves and sign it with a kiss. I'm coming home soon. The blue moon after next. When the night is hollow and shadows crowd the lawn, when the doors are bolted and the curtains are all drawn, you hear my voice in the creaking floorboards and hold your troubled head. I'm coming home soon. The blue moon after next. I am the thing that stands outside your bedroom door and whispers through the keyhole. The hand that knocks, the face you pretend you can't see outside the upstairs window. If I am not welcome, you can tell me. I'll disappear like mist. I'm coming home soon. I'm coming home soon.